So to say the gifts from my mom, and I've chosen my top 15. Number 1 was always put on your lipstick. It's important to show the world your best face. And in the hospital, she would ask me, Jaimi, I can't find my lipstick. Please go and bring me my lipstick. Or when we were in Spain visiting for her new grandson Aiden's christening, and my brother was out tirelessly in the yard working with his scrappy clothes on, she said, Jaimi, we need to go shopping. And I said, why do we need to go shopping? And he said, Jim needs a shirt. And I said, no, Mom, he doesn't need a shirt. He's just doing yard work. And she says, no, he needs a shirt. He would not be wearing a shirt like that if he didn't need a shirt. She just thought it was important to show the world your best. Number 2 was sing with the music and even without it. And you'll see that the songs that we have here were special to us with our mom, but she taught us all the years that we were with her to sing with the radio, to sing the songs. And at the parish hall afterwards, we have a little DVD of songs that were special to her and special to our family that we have as a commemorative of her life. But that was another example of participating fully in life and celebrating the joy and the sadness. 3 was she taught me the golden rule: treat others as you wish to be treated. Again, she was always showing both sides, even when I wished she would just take mine. 4 was the art of the deal: to find value and never pay full price. When I took her on the Mediterranean cruise when I was about 35, she was my negotiator in Turkey for leather and for gold in Greece. Nobody could negotiate like her. But really for her, the true joy was in the giving. So when she was shopping so much for everyone else that her friends tell the stories about her sneaking to them to show what she bought, but saying, now don't tell Jaimi. And when we grew up, we had gift drawers and gift closets. And I mean, she was always giving. And her biggest joy at Christmas was actually when she'd bring her bag of goodies that she found for her grandson Trenton and watch him with delight as he took each thing out of his bag. And one time, accidentally, her comb had fallen in there, and Trenton was about 5. And he grabbed in the bag and he pulled out and he said, I got a comb! And he was so excited. But she loved giving and she loved watching the expressions. Number 6 was don't be afraid to cheer louder than anyone else. And if you've ever been to a swim meet with her, you would know what I'm talking about. She believed that when you love someone, you should be their biggest cheerleader. She loved color. She felt that life is a beautiful array of color. And red was one of her favorite colors. And I brought 2 props to show you with her love of color. When I was 6, my dad was stationed 5. My dad was stationed in Vietnam for a year, so we didn't see him for a whole year. But halfway through the year, he had an R&R to Hawaii, so we flew over and met him in Hawaii. So this was my mom's version of our movement. Is that color or is that color? And when she passed, we had some very helpful input from members of my brother's swim team. He's the head coach of Rose Bowl Aquatics in Pasadena, and said that one thing that is very meaningful is to take your loved one's clothes and make a quilt out of them. And we are having one made for each of us, but I did want to share her quilt of many colors with you. Many of you probably recognize a lot of the clothes that she wore. And this particular quilt, because it has to travel back to Spain, is for her son, Jim. It has 3 generations. Number 8 was always be kind. I was probably in my 30s when I realized that my own mom was one of the kindest people that I knew, just in her being and in her giving and in her selflessness. Not that she didn't have idiosyncrasies. We all have our foibles, but her spirit was larger than life. Number 9 was take care of yourself and take care of others. She was a caretaker her whole life. She did take care of Jim and I, and then when we went to college, Jeff, and then her mom, the last 10 years of her mom's life. But she felt it was very important that you take care of yourself as well. And so she would, we affectionately called her the protein police, because she was always trying to make sure we all ate enough protein. And one time when I had taken her on that cruise, She was subject to motion sickness. So being the responsible person she was, she made sure and she got her motion sickness armband and her motion sickness patches and everything so she could enjoy this cruise. Well, I think the second night of the cruise, I was being entertained and I stayed out, and at last call of the bar at about 2:30, they put 2 more full drinks in front of everybody. So I got back to the cabin about 4, and she woke up and she said, "Are you drunk?" And I said, "No." And I promptly got sick, so I went to sleep. Unbeknownst to me, she had ordered room service to come at 8 in the morning. Omelets. I smelled the eggs, and I promptly got sick again. And she said, "I guess that patch didn't work." And I said, "What patch?" And she said, "The patch I put on because you were motion sick." We got a good laugh out of that for several years. Be independent. She always encouraged us to be strong and have the courage of our convictions. Never stop learning. She was the eternal student, getting her nursing degree and her bachelor's degree over after the age of 40. And also when she did get diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, she was the eternal student with Parkinson's disease, always taking responsibility for learning about her illness. But the 3 most important gifts, again, was that we could do or be anything we set our mind to. And that's probably why when I was young enough not to know any better at age 19, I got PG&E to turn on a man's electric service, even though he owed them $1,000. And I didn't have a dime to my name, but I convinced them he needed his heart support system when he got out of the hospital, so they were just going to have to turn on his power without anything. And we did that. And 3 years later, when I was running a law office in New York, I had a team of attorneys that were 25 minutes late to catch a flight in Newark Airport from Brooklyn. So I called Piedmont Airlines, and I talked to them for about 40 minutes, but finally, the 11th person I talked to agreed to hold the plane, and they held the plane for 25 minutes. They met the attorneys at the door, they escorted them up the stairs of the plane, they closed the door, and they took off. Now, who do you know that ever was able to stop a commercial airliner? That was my mom. She told me I could do anything. The 14 is that the important thing is you always have your family. So treasure your family and treasure your loved ones. And the most meaningful is that she taught us, her children, the meaning of unconditional love. We gave her her trials as we found our way in the world, but she was our rock. She truly was the wind beneath our wings. And her epitaph reads, "Amazing mother, daughter, and friend. Unconditional love always." So yes, she was like the rest of us. She did have her foibles and idiosyncrasies, but her spirit was larger than life. She is the best mother I could have ever wished for. And for that, I will be forever grateful. And when I hear her songs, I feel her with me. And I say, "Thanks, Mom, you're the best. And I'll always love you."